Welcome back. We will continue with our program. I hope you had a nice break, nice lunch. Let's just get started again. Our next speakers, you've met Michael Guyton. Then meet Ben Richmond, who is serving his 23rd year as president and CEO of the Louisville Urban League, which works to assist disadvantaged people in attaining social and economic stability and prosperity. A 2006 recipient of Louisville's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom Award, Ben currently serves on the boards of the Louisville and Southern Indiana Bridges Authority, the Center for Interfaith Relations, Greater Louisville, Inc., the University of Louisville Board of Overseers, BB&T Louisville Advisory Board, and the Metropolitan Sewer District of Louisville, Jefferson County. Meet Ben Richmond along with Mike Gritton.
He's coming up.
Okay.
All right, testing. Is this working? Yes?
Thank you.
All right. You all have already heard enough from me, so I want to make sure I give Ben most of the time, but they wanted us to just be on for a couple of minutes to just make sure we gave you the information about our organization. When I was up talking to you all before, I did not tell you the locations of those one-stop career centers, so I just want to make sure you know we have them all around the 7 counties. What you think of and what all of us dread to think of, but is still kind of what we think of as the unemployment office at 6th and Cedar, is a one-stop career center. We have career counselors there that can work with you. 2nd and Broadway, we have 2 things. We have a one-stop career center on the 9th floor, and we have that Kentuckiana College Access Center that can do some extensive career counseling with you on the 7th floor. Right? So that's 2 offices in downtown, NIA Center in the West End, 29th and Broadway, Shelby County at the Shelby County campus of JCTC, the community college, Bullitt County on the campus of the community college. You see a theme there because we're trying to be connected. The 2nd and Broadway stuff is also connected. Then you've got J-Town, Riverport, and Jewish Family and Vocational Services out on Breckenridge Lane, DuPont Circle area. That's 8. I did just want to do 2 other things. I was making notes as Kathy and Juanita were talking, and I just wanted to put my employer hat on for a minute. I posted a job a few months ago for deputy director, the person who would work for me, right? I got about 200 resumes. What I want to be clear about is I put them in a folder, and I take them on a plane with me, right? And I have about 30 seconds to look at that resume and figure out is there something relevant or not. You would be absolutely astounded at how many people give me resumes with typos. And it drives me berserk. And the more, after you've looked at 100 and you still got 100 more in the pile, you see a typo, boom, you're done, right? Forget it. Like if this person can't even write 1 page without giving me typos, how am I going to ask them to run the organization when I'm not there, right? So the typo stuff is really important, right? The old story I like to tell is my wife is brighter than I am. She has a PhD from Harvard in public health. But when she applied to graduate school in public health, she applied to Harvard and Johns Hopkins and all these great schools, and she got into every school that she applied to except the University of Washington, which was her backup school. And it turned out, when we went back and looked at her application, that I had helped her proofread every application but the one to University of Washington. And she left out the L in public when she was trying to describe that she wanted to go into public health. True story. Proofread, right? I also just want to say one other thing. Kathy Fyock's advice to you is exactly right. It's always nice to get a follow-up note or a follow-up email. But a lot of people have the mistaken impression that an email is like a text message. And if I screw something up or I leave out a word or the grammar's bad, that's no big deal. I'm just telling you, if you're going to work for me and you're going to communicate with people in writing, it better be perfect. Not close, perfect. So if you're going to send an email or a thank you note, make sure that it's good. Everything you're doing is telling a story about who you are and what kind of person you're going to be. And every one of those places is a place that you can trip up if you don't do it right. Okay? So you got the commercial for KentuckianaWorks. Again, we have people out in the hallway that can talk to you, both from KentuckianaWorks and the College Access Center. I'm going to turn it over to my friend and colleague, Ben Richmond.
Thank you, Michael. Good afternoon, everyone. Right. Good afternoon. I want to first congratulate all the organizers and the sponsors for this wonderful event. Particularly, thank you very much, our Congressman John Yarmuth. I think it's just great that he is behind this, and our partner, KentuckianaWorks, is doing this, and there are several other partners. I just think that is just simply fantastic, and I thank Gene West, who is still very active in our community, for that wonderful introduction. And I'm here to plug the Urban League for a few moments. But plugging the Urban League, I want to just talk about myself, because if it wasn't for the Urban League, I wouldn't be here. 1979, come back from Europe after having a career in music, looking for a job in somebody's college or university, and that's a wrong time of year in January looking for a job. So somebody said, go down to the Urban League. They'll help you to find a job. And I got introduced to the word resume. I had no idea what a resume was. I understood repertoire. I had a repertoire list of all the things I could perform. But I got hip with the resume real quick. And I went there for them to help me to find a job. Lo and behold, the Urban League ended up hiring me. Thus, my career today, after some 30 years now, working for the Urban League. Key there, transferable skills. Transferable skills is the key that I utilized. I had an industrial engineer that said, list all the things you can do. Read, write, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. List them all out. Interpersonal skills, and we did that. His name is Bill Graywall, and Bill Graywall shaped my resume, and helped me to sell myself at that time to the Urban League. So I want you to think about that. And that's what we do at the Urban League. We help you to position yourself, to sell yourself to an employer. And you heard what my colleague Juanita saying. Give it up for Juanita. She's one of the best in this market at what she does. She looks at me sometimes and says, your ideas are awfully crazy, but you need that kind of colleague. But we help you with employment, all aspects of employment, and we have some great relationships with employers. I want to brag on that. Almost 1,000, well over 1,000, in any given year, point in time, we're interacting with employers for all different kinds of positions. We're located at 1535 West Broadway, nice facility. We have a nice resource center for you to come in, sit at a computer, and do your search, whether it's local, regional, nationally, or even internationally, if you want to go so far. So check us out. But we do other things than just workforce development. Let's talk about